gigabyte, kilobyte, terabyte, megabyte, all this stuff makes my brain megahertz. Fortunately, someone is available to explain all this technobabble, helping you gain the upper hand with your computer. Here is Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373-888. We're a bunch of nerds here. That's why we've got nerd in the phone number. I don't know what else to say. I have crazy things like that all the time to talk about. But anyways, coming up later on this hour, we're going to have Steve Keski. We're going to be talking about the use of a robot in the standoff that happened in Dallas. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Peter Tsai. He is with Spiceworks. Actually, we had two things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how Windows 10 is rolling out. July 29th is right around the corner. That is the last day for free updates. I'm guessing we're going to get an extension on that. I'm not quite sure, but we'll find out pretty soon here on that. But Peter Tsai is going to talk about how IT professionals are accepting it and to what numbers prove that out. We're also going to talk about Spiceworks because this is a program that I have been using now for years, many years. So that'll be coming up. If you want to hear about Pokemon Go, that's going to actually be in our second hour. Now, for some of you, you don't get the second hour. What that means is you might check us out. Go to computertalkradio.com, and we have a link to YouTube there. You can download the podcast. You can get the podcast for the show right at computertalkradio.com. But we now have we've done this for just a couple of weeks. We've put it up on YouTube, so you can check it out there. No video. You're not going to see. You don't want to see my face. If you want to see my face, it's also somewhere on the website. Anyways, let's dive into the news. And this past couple of weeks, last week was really a great interview with Mark Jackson, and that was all about youth and utilizing, oddly enough, youth and computers and technology, and then what came out just 2 days before, Pokemon Go. We had, of course, Amazon Prime Day. We don't have any numbers from that. But Pokemon Go, of course, is going crazy. This is one of the first things we'll touch on in the news, and I'm just going to say we're going to talk a lot more about it in the second hour, but I couldn't resist passing along these two Facebook posts. Pokemon is not at the pastor's house. Basically, my pastor wrote this. Never thought I'd be posting this to the World Wide Web. And one of the responses was, if only people chased after God's will as readily as they chase after imaginary Pokemon characters. That was from someone who actually isn't even in the in our clergy. Clergy, is that? Yeah, I guess that's the right term. So I thought that was funny, and I wanted to pass that along. Jack Dorsey, he is the head guy, top guy at Twitter. He's the CEO over there, and guess what? Yeah, his password, his account was hacked. This is amazing. Every time I turn around, we're hearing about somebody else's account getting hacked. And we're not talking small names. We're talking major names. And this is the same company that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. It's the same guys, and they were testing your security. Blah, blah, blah. These guys are, by my figuring, they're black hat hackers. Concept of white hat, gray hat, black hat. The white hat are the good guys. They don't do anything. They'll find something. They'll let you know, but they're mostly exploring. Gray hat hackers are They're not doing it for personal gain, but they're doing things that they really shouldn't be. They're breaking things that they shouldn't be. Black hat hackers are actually in it for the money. And these guys, I'm not even going to give out their name. These guys hacked his email, or actually, I'm guessing it was his Twitter account. Yeah, his Twitter account. And in doing so, they were bringing to light the fact that they are professional hackers and they are available for a price. Wow, just amazing. I don't believe in that kind of concept, and neither if you really think about it, neither should you. Facebook has been coming under fire by a senator, Senator Ed Markey from Massachusetts. It basically went through blasting them. See, all right, Facebook has actually banned the concept of selling guns, a legal premise. This is a legal item in many states to just sell your firearm in a person-to-person sale to your friends, even to people you don't know, in many states. So imagine this in Texas. And we all know about Texas and their love for firearms, and it's perfectly legal to do a private party sale. So the guy who did his nasty stuff in Dallas, well, all right, so he did buy an AK-47 on Facebook, and now Facebook has shut this down. Facebook has been doing this all year long, and the senator came forward and said, you guys got to do more. You have to really shut this down. You have to do all kinds of research, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just amazed. It's like, we're going to blame Facebook for what happened in Dallas? I don't know. It's just amazing. It just boggles my mind with what's going on. Too much time online damages the immune system and makes computer users more likely to catch the flu. People with greater levels of internet addiction. I want you to think about this. This is an addiction, and definitely people who are addicted to the internet are also more likely to suffer stress. Now, this is absolutely just an amazing concept. At the same time, it's pretty much accurate if you think about it. I mean, there are some things that kind of can balance this out. If you are addicted to anything, then yeah, you're going to have some breakdown in your system. You're probably spending too much time staying up late. That's going to weaken your system. You're probably spending not enough time up and about and around. That could be a problem. I will counter that there is a potential flip side to this. The concept of, well, if you're spending a lot of time on computers, you're probably not around a whole lot of people. So maybe that's going to kind of counterbalance this. Who knows? It's an interesting thought. This gentleman, I don't want to say gentleman, that's probably not the right thing. This guy was at an executive search firm, and he decided, as he was leaving the company, that he was going to download all kinds of information from the executive search firm company that he was working for to create his own. Now, this was authorized usage to some extent because he was authorized to access the database as a current employee. He downloaded this information, and yes, it did breach some confidentiality clauses, but what they chased after him for, the item that they got him for, was violation of a particular act which says you can't share passwords. Okay, so he got some help from a colleague or some colleagues, and he utilized the passwords for each of these people, and actually some of them colluded together to download all of this information. Now, the interesting, scary thing is how they have ruled that he violated this. But yet one of the judges, the dissenting judge, Stephen Reinhardt, he said people frequently share their passwords, notwithstanding the fact that websites and employers have policies prohibiting this. We can't be throwing the book at this guy and just ignoring everybody else. In reality, we should be doing it the other way around. We should find other ways to find this guy, to stop him, to restrain him. And, yeah, I don't know. That'll be an interesting one. Peter Tsai is coming up next here on Computer Talk Radio. He's going to be talking about Windows 10. Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio, so I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-637-3888. Now we're going to go to Peter Tsai, and Peter Tsai is an IT analyst at a company called Spiceworks. I don't even know if I should call it a company. It's an organization. It's a conglomeration of over 1 million nerds. Okay, IT professionals. But Peter, actually, let me have you describe what Spiceworks is. You're probably a lot more adept at that than I am.
All right, I'd be glad to. Spiceworks is a network, as you said, that brings together millions of IT pros and thousands of technology vendors and companies. We provide IT professionals, applications, content, and we create connections between the IT pros that help simplify how they do their jobs and just make their workday a little bit better.
Yeah, and in some cases, it's more than just a little bit. It's a lot better. There's the forums there are just amazing. All of the different people who dive in to help each other, fellow nerds, just saying, oh, hey, I've dealt with that problem before. Here, you do this, this, and this, and we're all set. It's great. But I've got Peter on, actually, for something that we've got a sneak peek here at Computer Talk Radio of what Windows 10 figures are like from Spiceworks. And this is sort of one of the things that I think you're dealing with right now as a listener. You are trying to figure out whether or not you should make the jump on the free upgrade to Windows 10 right now or not. Peter, what is probably the biggest statistic in amongst the entire IT world as far as Windows 10 goes? In your report.
Yeah, in our report, the biggest statistic we found was that a lot of IT pros and organizations are adopting Windows 10. So we found that 38% of organizations across the world are using Windows 10 right now, and a lot of them are really happy with it.
Now, is this where does this sit as far as in the past? How far Windows XP 7, Vista 8, how far they got in that short of a span?
Oh, right. So Windows 10 is the most quickly adopted Windows ever. Microsoft put out some figures recently saying about 350 million computers are already running the OS. So it has far surpassed any of those other OSs in terms of speed of adoption. But Windows 7 still, it's the most popular still, but Windows 10 has some time to catch up.
Definitely. So what are we hearing as far as these organizations, their success or failure rate on their migration plans?
I think they're doing pretty well so far. As I mentioned, a lot of IT professionals are happy with how the Windows 10 deployments have been going. Overall, 85% of the IT pros we asked said that they're generally satisfied with Windows 10 in general. And they're looking to Windows 10 for a lot of reasons. As you mentioned, there's a free upgrade coming up, and that's a really big incentive for a lot of people to make the jump.
Yeah, this is one of those things where they announced it as a free upgrade way back when, and I know there are people that are resisting this, and we've heard a number of different things along the way. I know people say, well, I heard that it's really buggy or whatnot. Now, I haven't seen a whole lot in the way of problems myself. I enjoy Windows 10. What are we seeing as far as anything like that? Anything really of major note?
Yeah, in the early phases when they first announced Windows 10, a lot of people were concerned about buggy early releases. A lot of people like to sit on the sidelines until the service pack comes out. But we saw a lot of people jump to Windows 10 because of the really good technical preview that Microsoft ran, and because it's free to upgrade. So the initial rate of people thinking that they were going to run into a lot of bugs was a lot lower in reality when they actually installed it. But that said, there have been some compatibility issues when it comes to hardware or software, and the number one challenge that IT pros have faced with Windows 10 is compatibility issues, and about 56% of the people we talked to said they've encountered at least some.
Okay, so people should be prepared on the off chance that there is something wrong as far as a compatibility issue.
Right. I think a lot of people are just experimenting with Windows 10. They're testing the waters, but they haven't fully migrated because of some of these compatibility issues. They might still have some Windows 7 or Windows 8 machines in their environment, maybe just because their hardware or software doesn't support it just yet.
Sure, and of course that's speaking a lot to the business world. What about? Do you guys? I mean, I know Spiceworks really deals with the IT professional group. Do you have any stats on like for personal people, general consumers?
Our network is mostly with IT professionals, sysadmins, IT managers, IT directors, and CIOs. So we didn't talk to, say, your mom or dad or your grandma who uses a PC at home. But like I said before, Microsoft released the figure saying 350 million PCs are running Windows 10. That includes a lot of people at home too.
Sure, and we can also extrapolate. You know, this is one of those situations where, look, for the listeners out there that may not be IT professionals, look, the IT professionals are moving in droves to this. This is. Yeah, you may have heard. Okay, people are interested. These are nerds. They're interested in the bleeding edge, the leading edge, and all that. But the reality is, I know for me, I don't have the time to chase down 1,000 problems every day. I want something that is going to be reliable and solid. And same with my IT peers. Would you say that's a good, fair assessment, Peter?
Yeah, that has to do a lot with why so many IT pros are satisfied with Windows 10. So besides the free upgrade being a major reason for going to the new OS, about 50% of the IT pros we talked to said that the performance of Windows 10 and the stability has been really solid.
Yes. What about concerns about end of life of older operating systems like XP and stuff? I know the companies. I kept on hearing a while back about people who were saying, "Okay, finally, I'll move off of XP."
Yeah, some people might have been waiting around for the new OS to come out. There's still, believe it or not, a lot of people still using XP because of compatibility issues, because they still have really old software that doesn't work with newer OSs. But yes, end of life is a big concern for security reasons in the IT world. So yes, end of life of other OSs, whether it's Windows XP or Windows Server 2003 or whatever you might have in there. In general, moving away from those old OSs to something newer has been a big driver of people moving over to Windows 10 or newer server OSs in IT.
Now, along through this, did you run any stats on finding out if nerds, professionals, IT professionals saw any difference between Windows 7 and Windows 10 in terms of the various portions of whether it's implementation or management or any of that?
Yeah, I think overall the IT pros really love Windows 10. Their users might be a different story. I think a lot of users like to stay with the tried and true, and they don't want to learn a new operating system and have to change their normal behaviors. So while we found that 85% of IT pros really like Windows 10, we found that Windows 7 is still the favorite among their users, probably just because they're more familiar with it. But that said, Windows 10's interface is very similar to Windows 7. Mm-hmm. With Windows 8, they took away the start menu for a lot of users, which a lot of people didn't like, and there was a lot of resistance to moving over to Windows 8. But Windows 10 has been received a bit better than Windows 8 was. So it's not as big of a jump as it was from Windows 7 to Windows 8. So I anticipate that to be a little bit more smooth of a transition.
Very cool. That is the voice of Peter Tsai. He is an IT analyst on the staff over at Spiceworks, and we're talking, of course, about Windows 10. The upcoming deadline for your free upgrade is right around the corner. We'll be talking more about that here in just a moment, here on Computer Talk Radio. I'm constantly looking for the right place to get computer hardware. It's not easy, as there are so many stores that have gone out of business, so many shady characters online, or they're simply not capable of handling diverse needs. In 1979, two guys got together and built a computer company that could serve your nerdy needs. Micro Center. The wide range of products at Micro Center includes even the latest of Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and other hobbyist-level computers. They also have drones. They've got them in all price categories, from toys to, oh boy. Look, you're looking for console gaming, home automation. Micro Center's got that. Hardware, software, accessories, or, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. From Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com. The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. I've got Peter Tsai on the line, and Peter is with Spiceworks. He's an IT analyst with this great organization I rely on Spiceworks on a daily basis, whether it is... there's an inventory software, there's a help desk, ticket tracking system, there is the forums, and these are just three different aspects in three different directions with Spiceworks. And Peter, give everybody an idea of where Spiceworks started, if you would, please.
Sure. Spiceworks is a company based in Austin, Texas, that was created really to make life easier for IT professionals who fix the computers out there for everybody working in an office worldwide. So we really wanted to make life better for the IT pros and, in turn, make it better for everybody that uses the computer. So we created this inventory app, as you mentioned, which helps IT pros if they have hundreds of computers or even 1,000 computers. We can help them figure out everything that's running on their network so they can better maintain, manage, and repair them. We also have help desk software, as you've mentioned. Even if you're not an IT pro, maybe you've used it before where you report that, hey, my computer's not working so well, this is what's happening, and the IT professional will be able to see your issue and address that as quickly as possible. So we really just want to make life easier. The founders of our company had worked in IT previously, and they really just wanted to make everything easier for IT professionals who are often really strapped for time, strapped for money, and overworked. So we just wanted to help them out.
Yeah, and this is absolutely an amazing product. This is it's ad supported, which is, it's much like many of the public websites you might go to. You go to a news website, and there's ads around it, and these you guys really target a lot of the IT community. It's not like I'm going there and I'm seeing ads for something off the wall that's absolutely not interesting. It's usually interesting software, interesting hardware, and it's really targeted towards the IT community. But that allows you to provide so much more in the background. You guys, the ability for the inventory software. If I've got a computer that has a problem, I can instantly go and see, okay, what software is installed on it, who's logged into it last, and so forth and so on. There's just so many different things. I can remote control a computer straight from that same window. What are some of the other things I'm missing here? There's just so many things there.
Sure, yeah. I wanted to hit on a point that you had just mentioned, how we have a lot of different technology vendors in the community.
Sure.
That is Spiceworks. So we're all about creating personal connections. And you said we're not just displaying ads. We're creating connections between people. So
Yes.
when you reach out to a company that sells computers or sells software in Spiceworks, you're really talking to a human being behind that, not a brand. So we're connecting IT pros with each other so they can help each other answering various technical questions. They're also connecting on a one-on-one basis with these IT brands out there that have a solution that can help them also make their life easier or save them time or provide some new service for them that they might not have learned about otherwise.
Sure. Yeah. As a matter of fact, some of the companies which I found out more information about for products that we're using at my office, at my day job, there's representation there, and it's far more of a laid back. It's not some high pressure used car salesman trying to sell me something. It's knowledgeable people who are looking to help fellow nerds. It's almost like many of them are nerds. I know some of them. I use this term lightheartedly because people understand. The general public understands the term nerd. We tend to recognize each other and we get along with each other if we just stick with the nerd stuff versus the buy this now.
Right.
So
we're not always talking about computers. We're talking about nerd stuff too. A lot of Star Wars fans, a lot of Game of Thrones fans.
Yes.
It's not all just strictly business. It's a community of people who are genuinely connecting in a real way, and that makes it much easier to have a real conversation.
I really enjoy a lot of the knowledge that I get from there, and it's been how many years now has Spiceworks been around?
Spiceworks has passed its 10th anniversary pretty recently, so we're not quite a startup anymore, but we've been around. We've got lots of products that a lot of people use, and we have millions of IT pros joining in a conversation online all the time.
Yeah, and this also extends to local events as well as the big Spice World that's coming up in, is it November?
It's November this year here in Austin, Texas. We also have a European conference in London every year as well. Wow.
Yeah, I've noticed that. This is an international community of folks, too. I've seen a lot of people from over in Europe asking questions, and sometimes there's conversations in regards to some very interesting English or British takes on things.
That's true, yeah. A lot of cross-Atlantic friendships and relationships have built up through the conversations in the community, and a lot of people love to hang out with each other at the conference because they've been chatting with each other for years on the internet, but then when they get together in real life, it's like they've been real-life friends this whole time, and there's just really a sense of community and a lot of nerds getting together to talk shop and to just talk about things they're interested in, whether that's video games or outdoor grilling or whatever, movies,
Yeah.
or building a Raspberry Pi. There's just tons of different kinds of threads going on in Spiceworks.
Yeah, it's absolutely great. Even if I know some people, they manage a matter of 5 computers, and we I say we because I'm a part of that group. We welcome them in. It's always fun. Peter, do me a favor, give out the website where people can find more information.
Sure. The website is spiceworks.com.
All right, very cool. Again, that's spiceworks.com. This is Benjamin Rockwell. We'll be back with Steve Keski in just a moment here on Computer Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Benjamin Rockwell. Most of us use digital cameras nowadays, but what do we do with those old pictures and slides in the back of the closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. If you have boxes of old slides, then you know they fade more and more each year. Let Legacy Digital scan them for you and stop the aging process dead in its tracks. You'll get beautiful 10-megapixel digital files, color-corrected and ready for printing. All this is done faster and cheaper than buying a film scanner and doing it yourself. Your files are then burned onto gold archival DVD discs where they will last for generations. Call right now, mention my name, Benjamin Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. And tell them Benjamin sent you. Your memories are priceless, so call 866-2-LEGACY now.
The website, computertalkradio.com. Computertalkradio.com. We'll have this week's show, the entire show, up at YouTube, but to get there, the easiest way for me to tell you is just go to computertalkradio.com, look for the YouTube icon, and there you go. Steve Keski joins me now here on Computer Talk Radio. And Steve, one of the things that you and I discuss robots, and actually some of the, I don't want to say more fantastical items, but that's about the best way I can think of it. The more futuristic items that come along. And this past week, well, a little bit more than a week ago, we had what has been billed as the first time that a robot has been used to kill someone. Which that's in regards to the incident in Dallas. And it's actually not the first time somebody's actually been killed by a robot. It's the first time it has been used intentionally, I guess, to kill someone. The first time was actually in like 1978 or 1979. It was a robot arm working at a car manufacturer or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was wondering what your take on all of that was. The whole concept there. I know they used an explosive. Did you follow any of that? Did you catch what explosive they used?
Yeah, they used C4.
Okay, all right.
A plastic explosive. But I would like to really clarify that. And as far as some people out there will say, well, they shouldn't use a robot. And it actually wasn't a robot.
Yeah.
It was a drone more than it was a robot, because a robot means it has total control of what it goes and what it's doing.
I would even argue.
In no case that piece of equipment knew where it was going and what it was going to do.
Sure. And I would even argue that it involves not even knowing where it was going, but not a full sentience, but even a semi-sentience, something anywhere along the line of programming beyond forward, backwards, left, right. And I'm guessing that it was a bomb robot, right? If I'm not mistaken?
Basically, what it was is the same kind of robot they use for picking up bombs and taking them into the field to blow up, or into a safe a truck to blow up, or something on this order.
So really, it was more like a ground-bound drone.
Yeah.
A fancy remote control car, if you will.
Absolutely. Because, again, for all those science fiction people out there that love science fiction and say robot, the 3 laws of robot. Well, geez, that's a robot, meaning it has its own intelligence, and it makes its own decisions. This thing didn't do that.
No, not at all.
Not at all. It's the same thing as the drones that are flying overhead that are dropping bombs and everything. They're radio controlled, back control of some human someplace. They have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. For those who are uninitiated in regards to the 3 laws of robotics, written by Isaac Asimov years ago, and it basically says the robots can't do any harm to anybody, and then they can't do harm to other robots, and then they can't do harm to themselves, and in successive order, basically. But yeah, that was kind of an interesting situation that we utilized kind of a remote control technology. I guess one of the defenses that they had was that they knew that this guy was sufficiently armed, and they didn't want to risk anybody else's life running on in, and they figured he'd eventually come out probably trying to go out in a blaze of glory.
That's right. And to me, that sounded like the man was sitting there armed to the teeth and says, all right, guys, come and get me, because I wanted to take out police officers anyway, so if the police officers are going to come in, I'll just blow everybody away.
Yeah. And, this is one of those things where, we can all armchair quarterback this for ages.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that was probably, it was one of the things that was available to them, a tool, and they needed to use something to stop the situation from escalating, from hurting anybody else. And it's unfortunate that something like that has to happen. But then again, we wind up in this situation where it's most of these situations are unfortunate.
That's true.
Most of the time, police officers are trying to de-escalate, they're trying to go home at night. Sure. That's what it really is.
That's right. And they talked to him for over 45 minutes trying to get him to come out. And he says, no way, guys. I ain't coming out. You got to come and get me.
Yeah.
In essence. Yeah. And he probably, even though there was a window in the room that he was in, he probably was sticking himself in a position where he couldn't get shot by a sniper.
Yeah. That was, you never know. I mean, again, that gets to all of us armchair quarterbacking. What do you think? I mean, we've only got just a few more seconds. What do you think of this? Is there any ill boding towards the future on something like this, or is this just a freak circumstance?
I would say that if they ever use it again, they're going to have to really weigh the pros and cons of which is better to use this kind of force to take out this this guy that's unbalanced and wants to harm other people, or do we try to go in there and risk the lives of some other people?
Sure.
Police officers or soldiers or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. This is Benjamin Rockwell. That's Steve Keski. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back with my closing comments in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and just a normal person. Recently, though, it was clear to me that it was time to upgrade, but I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After searching around for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when a 32-ounce soda would do. These guys know WordPress, Joomla, and regular standard websites. These guys at SiteGround are awesome. SiteGround.com. Site, S-I-T-E, ground.com. So Computer Talk Radio has been around, well, we've been on the air since 2008, and January 2008. And in that entire time, I have been lax on a few different things, and we're going to be working up some of these different things over the course of the next few months. Some of the things, yeah, we do have a Facebook page. I update it about as frequently as I change the oil in my car. That's not good. We now have a YouTube account, and we are actually moving forward with that. That's going to be a big thing that we're going to be focused on, and that is just bringing video. Well, not really video. It's just bringing you another option for checking out Computer Talk Radio. Another way to reach the many people that are out there. We're also going to be ramping up Twitter, and we're open to your ideas as well. We have realized that, yeah, maybe we've been a little bit remiss there. So we're going to go through the whole concept of the Google Plus pages. And we did start up a Google Plus page way back when. That's been gathering dust. The Twitter is basically just a simple thing. Twitter, by the way, at 888-NERD888. So if you are on Twitter, follow us there, please. The Computer Talk Radio YouTube item, we still have yet to. So I've got up. I think it's this is going to be the fourth show that's going to actually be online. We do not have any cameras in the studio. It's one of those things which I'm not always able to set up a camera in time. We do things a little bit differently the way the show's set up. So we just have a basic screen that goes up. Table of contents kind of stuff is going to come along and so forth. But if you go to the website, computertalkradio.com, check out the website. We're going to be keeping track of all of our different efforts online, and we're going to provide links online to these various locations. So, yes, you're going to find today, if you go to the website, you'll find, yes, a link to YouTube, to the videos, to what amounts to essentially a podcast with a slideshow. But in the future, we're going to do the Facebook thing. We're going to do a number of these different things. Again, it's a way for you to contact us, too. Go to computertalkradio.com and click on the Contact Us tab. If you've got an idea, let us know. If you want us to link to you, let us know. We'd be more than happy to... basically folks who are in the computer industry. We're looking at making friends, of course. This is always a fun thing. I enjoy doing this, and I've been doing this for so long that it's always fun. Anyways, my name is Benjamin Rockwell. I've been doing this again since 2008, and I'm going to continue doing this until I shuffle off. It's just that's just my plan for right now. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
Across the country, folks are listening to A Nerd? Yep. Bringing you the latest in computers and gadgetry, here's Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The past few weeks have been a barrage of, you have to pay attention to this. There's breaking news on this, that, or the other thing. And I'm going to talk about that here in a moment. First off, let me give you the website, computertalkradio.com. computertalkradio.com. Of course, we'll have the link to the YouTube up there, the YouTube channel. That'll be up on the website, as well as you can also call us, 888-NERD. 888. That's 888-637-3888. Coming up later on this hour, Keith M. Cedar. He's going to be talking about Pokemon Go. And, wow, that's an amazing thing altogether. Just what they've done with that. We're going to have Marty Winston coming up next, and he's going to be talking about, yes, the 40-year house. But first, let's talk about all of these breaking news things. All of these issues that come at us left, right, and just, it seems like this is a very busy year for breaking news. We keep tuning into the latest issues, whether it's in France or it's off in Florida or it's in Dallas or it's in France again. And I want to encourage you, first off, slow down. It is way too easy for us to go flying through all of these different things that are going on. We could stay tuned to the television. We're not doing that so much. We're looking at live streams that are going on. As a matter of fact, one of the recent incidents was live streamed on Facebook. And all of these different things that are going on, and the way that we are evolving as people is both exciting but also kind of scary. We have insights through cameras, through technology, into far more of the world events, even the national events, than we have had in our entire lifetimes. In recorded history, it is said, and I don't know how accurate this is, but it is said that at the turn of the century, 1900, not 2000, in 1900, the average person knew about as much of world events and world conflict and so forth as what could be contained in one issue of the New York Times. Today, what do we have? We have access to live events. We have access to all kinds of different things that are going on around the world. We hear just a couple of cubicles over, hey, bring this up, bring up NBC, bring up ABC, bring up Fox, CNN, I don't care, whatever it is, whatever their stream is. They've got this breaking event that's happening in whatever city, country, whatever, and it involves this, that, or the other thing. And then we take that information and we are responding without any background, without any of the details. We're responding with a knee-jerk reaction to whatever happened. And sometimes what we find out later on, if we pay attention, is that the first news, those first few minutes of information that came out, whether it was on broadcast or it was on Facebook or some of the tweets, that wasn't the full story. As a matter of fact, these days I'm looking at, we all need to wait. If somebody else is talking about a story, don't jump in, and really don't start leveling all kinds of different comments back and forth. This just happened, therefore, all cops are bad. This just happened, therefore, all people of this particular race are bad. This happened, all people of this particular race are good. It doesn't work like that. Not by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever. And yet we do. We jump on these things. We quickly make a comment. We quickly make those knee-jerk reactions. We respond. We hear that this happened or that happened. This particular person, he's just an innocent young lad. And then we find out that he's got a long rap sheet. He's been known by the cops for ages and ages. Not saying anything about any particular incident whatsoever. I want to make this clear. I'm not talking about these incidents in individuality, but just in general. This particular cop over here, he did this, therefore he's always been doing this. Mark Furman. We go back to the O.J. Simpson trial. His entire career fell apart because at one point in time, somebody thinks they heard him use a bad word, a bad racist word. And, of course, he's been painted as being a racist, although many people have come out since and said, I never heard anything like that from him. He's a good guy. And I'm just saying, this all has gone crazy. So take your time. That's the very first thing. Now you're going to have curiosity immediately. I think we all have curiosity. We all have various just demand to know what's going on. We want to know more details. We feed a very hungry portion of our body. It's our brain. We feed our brain. And the more we feed it, the more we want to feed it. The hungrier it gets. It's absolutely an amazing phenomenon that I've realized over the years in myself, but I've seen this in others. The more we satisfy that curiosity, the more we seek to fulfill more of that curiosity, and sometimes in ways that we really should not be fulfilling that curiosity. Okay, so we go searching across the internet for the background on this person or that person. We go chasing after all kinds of information that we shouldn't be chasing after. And then, amongst all of this, those initial reports and our curiosity, and we're willing to accept context, the information that's coming at us, but we're treating it with the context of what we have right then, not really the entire context, not the entire story, the entire situation all the way around. We latch on to whatever feels good or feels bad. we don't look at the entire story. And I will tell you, all the way along, we need to see the evidence. We need to see the big story, the big picture, and the small pictures after everything has happened. We really need to understand both sides of the story. Or many times, it's all sides of the story. The information that we have after some of these incidents is so very small. It's so very minuscule. A matter of somebody driving a truck, somebody doing whatever. It doesn't matter. We need to wait till we find out all of the details, until we find out exactly what's going on. And we need to slow down. If you know an event is happening, take your time. Gather information, take it in, but do not make a judgment until it's all done. I don't know. I'm partially guilty of this myself. I'm giving you this information in the idea that maybe you will learn from maybe some of my mistakes. Maybe you'll take some of this information in and you'll exercise this. Maybe you'll have some ideas that you'll give back to me on the website at computertalkradio.com. You slide on down to where it says Contact Us, and there you go. Marty Winston's coming up next. It's all about the 40-year house here on Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
For over 25 years, one nerd has explored computers and now serves to be your guide on a journey forward. He's been in your place and he's answered computer questions for clients, employers, friends, and sometimes people he didn't even know. This nerd stands ready to bring you more information to keep you aware of computers and technology, but he also encourages you to use it, understand it, to fix it, and to reach out and embrace the future. Now, from a nondescript server room in a top secret location in Southern California, here's Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. We've got, of course, a way for you to contact us. If you want to copy and paste something, you see a laptop you want more information about, you want to compare a couple of laptops, and you want to submit that to me and say, hey, which one would you buy if you had like all kinds of money or all kinds of not having money? I'll help you out. Again, go to computertalkradio.com. Scroll down to where it says Contact Us and fill out the information and send it. It's really easy. Marty Winston joins me now, and he is the brain behind the 40-year house, or actually putting it all together. There's all kinds of brains in this house, but much smaller brains in the form of the Raspberry Pi. You know, let me actually have you start off by telling people who may not have heard about the Raspberry Pi just briefly what it is.
A Raspberry Pi is a fairly naked computer about the size of a deck of cards that in its current, most recent edition, the Raspberry Pi Model 3B, has Wi-Fi, wired Ethernet, Bluetooth, and many other things, a fast processor, a lot of memory, USB ports, and it's programmable. The easiest way is with a very accessible open language called Python.
Okay, so now you ran into a very interesting problem. You hit on this just recently. You were planning on Bluetooth Smart Mesh with all of these different sensors and just have them talk via Bluetooth to a matter of a few Raspberry Pis.
That's true. Aircable is a brilliant developer of Bluetooth Smart Mesh products. And they were working with me on the design of the CAP, the ceiling awareness panel that I'll get into what it does in a minute. But among other things, it's taking 64 temperature measurements on an 8x8 array grid in the room, which is important to a lot of the automation. Now, 64 temperature measurements get taken 10 times a second. And there are 30 of these things in the house. And when I went over the numbers with Jürgen at Aircable, he said, wait a minute. I said, oh, no. He said, you see, Bluetooth Smart Mesh is a low-power radio protocol. Mm-hmm. And because of that, it's fine for things that have not a lot of bandwidth, not a lot of data, and don't necessarily have to be successful at communicating in their first attempt. They'll keep retrying until it comes across. He said, but with this much data, you're going to flood it. You're beyond its ability to report the data reliably that quickly.
Okay.
And that was a moment. I said, well, can I use Wi-Fi? He said, well, not really, he said, because Wi-Fi saturates and needs reconnections if you have more than about 20 things connected to it. Oh, brother, wired Ethernet had to be wired Ethernet. But even 10100 Ethernet is more than enough bandwidth for this. And that is, I know, one of the connectors on a Raspberry Pi.
Yes.
And since there's no less expensive way of doing this, I took a look at taking the original concept for the CAP, which was that 8x8 temperature measurement, relative humidity measurement, a whisker, as we call it, a proximity sensor, so if there's a fan blade blocking the view, it can get nudged out of the way, ambient light measurement. I thought, okay, we got the Pi in there. Can we make it do something else? So we did a segment, you and I hope all your listeners caught it, on making an alternative to the doorbell happen. That's a small card, smaller than a business card, with an amplifier on it and a speaker the size of a mint. That goes in the box. A relay goes in the box to control any adjacent ceiling fan. And all this stuff should fit in, worst case, a 3-gang standard electrical box, which means I can put it on the ceiling with a modestly altered blank faceplate, and it won't look intrusive.
Okay.
So that's where we went with the idea of Raspberry Pi, but 30 of them. So
30 of them. Yeah. That's just mind-blowing. That's, there are people who are putting together some interesting things with those Raspberry Pis, sort of not truly a supercomputer, but that kind of just combining all of the different little processors together to provide far more power than what you would have with just a small little system.
Yeah, it's like an army of small people downing a giant just by working in concert. They are individually quite capable, and then they have the ability to interconnect. As hardware platforms, they're extraordinarily open. So don't want to get too geeky on everybody, but it's a brainy little thing, and it's pretty useful.
So now you did mention that they get programmed in Python. That's one of the programming languages that I haven't had a chance to look at it a whole lot. Have you had a chance to dive into that? And if so, how easy is it, or how hard is it?
I just wrote my first Python function about an hour ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it's not hard. I mean, like any language, there are things you have to do. You have to follow indentations. Mm-hmm. You know, anybody who's done programming is familiar with if-then. There is no then in Python. It's if with the thing you're comparing inside parentheses and then a colon. And then if the then is simple, you can put it on the same line. If it's complex, you go underneath and you indent. And what was I doing? I was taking a look at the 64 locations in the room where we'll have temperature data, mm-hmm. and looping through that count, extracting any datum that is above a preset point. I set 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm adding that value and that pixel number to a list that gets communicated out on MQTT, which is that lightweight message transport that everybody loves. That's one of the things that happens. In the meantime, any temperature that is not above that is taken as part of the background temperature, and we take all of those other readings and determine from those an average background temperature. I also look at the minimum and maximum background temperature, and if those are greater than a delta, a difference that I establish, I can send a signal to stir the air in the room by turning the fan on. Otherwise, in a vacant room, a fan doesn't need to be on. If it continues, then we know we have reason to look at the ventilation system overall. It might signal a hole in the ventilation duct.
Very cool. Hey, Marty, we're out of time for this week. Do me a favor, real quick, give out the website where people can find out more in regards to the 40-Year House.
It's 40yearhouse.com, 40yearhouse.com.
Very cool. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. We'll be back in just a moment.
Trying to figure out how to explain it to your local nerd? Need help with your printer? Need advice on a computer purchase? No problem. Benjamin Rockwell can help. Benjamin is always ready to answer your questions. You may submit your questions online using the contact form at the Computer Talk Radio website, computertalkradio.com. Alternatively, you may call Benjamin at 888-NERD-888. That's 888-637-3888.
I'm constantly looking for the right place to get the things that are on my nerd wish list. It's not easy. There are so many stores that have gone out of business. There are so many shady characters online, or so many of them are just simply not capable of handling my needs in a one-stop shop. In 1979, two guys got together and built the brick-and-mortar company that could serve your tech needs. Of course, today, they've got an online presence, and it's called Micro Center. They've got tablets, iPad, yes, but also Android and Windows and all the accessories, too. They've got laptops, desktops, all-in-ones, Windows or Apple, of course, all covered here. Motherboards and processors, and okay, all right, who are we kidding? It's really everything to build your own PC. Keyboards, mice, surge protectors, software, tools, and thumb drives. Enough. Look, from Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com.
Keith M. Sedor is a Mac. Benjamin Rockwell is a PC. I think a fanboy fight is about to start.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. computertalkradio.com. I'm sending you there because, well, we have a new thing on YouTube, but I want you to check it out. It's basically the show. Nothing much more than that. It's the show on YouTube with a couple of slides to go along with it. But the easiest way for me to send you to the YouTube address is to have you go to computertalkradio.com and then click on the YouTube icon.
And what's really cool about it is if you are not actually using a podcast app on your mobile device, whether it's Apple's Podcast or Podbean or anything else in the Google Play Store, you can actually listen to episodes of both Computer Talk Radio and the Computer Talk Radio Nerdcast right from your web browser, whether that browser happens to be on your desktop, your laptop, or your mobile device.
I have something to confess. We haven't done the Nerdcast up on YouTube yet, but we will. We will.
But you don't need to go to YouTube. You can actually listen to episodes of the Nerdcast right on computertalkradio.com. Although you should check them out on the YouTube channel because they're better. They're cooler. They're like the Steve Austin of podcasts. Gentlemen, this is an ordinary podcast. We can make it better than it was before. Better. Stronger. Faster. That actually means that when you are making it faster, in your download speed is faster. Do you have a better connection to the web? I don't know if it's a telekinetic thing. We're getting way off track because, Benjamin, you haven't even introduced me yet. I am your co-host for this segment, Keith M. Sidor. Keith M. Sidor of MyMacGuru.com.
All right. Let's.
This is an amazing segment. Do not stop recording, Benjamin.
I gotta stop.
Fun. And we're gonna let the people behind we're gonna break the fourth wall this week. One second, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be original. Keep recording, and we're gonna talk about our subject today, Pokemon Go.
We've only got like 4 minutes left now to talk about it.
Guess what? Now we're going to break the wall through the commercial, and I'm going to do the 7-minute segment with you as well. You didn't know what you were doing for the 7. Now we've got our 7. There you go, Benjamin. Problem solved.
All right.
This is my good friend, Benjamin Rockwell. Talk to you about something that I'm doing.
All right. So, oh, this is wild. Okay, so what? Pokemon Go. First off, I should say this. It's fine. We'll go for 2 segments. Look, I don't even understand the Pokemon thing. I saw I think it was 8 movies in the theater for Pokemon.
3.
Yeah, I know. But it feels like 8. Actually, my son tells me there were only 2 that went into the theater, and I am really sure that we went to some the Fathom events kind of thing in the movie theater where there was a special screening or something of the Pokemon that went direct to video or something. I don't know. It was all over my head. It wasn't over my head. I had no fascination with it whatsoever.
You and I grew up on Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and the Electric Company. And then, Barney comes along. I don't mean Rubble. I mean the purple dinosaur. And it's like, we have no interest in these things. So this was obviously of an era from when we were a little bit older. It was a cartoon that was not directed at us.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So the characters and the concept behind the show, notwithstanding, Pokemon Go is an amazing game, an amazing game concept. And I really have to hand it to Nintendo because Nintendo has kind of been on the skids lately because after the wild success of the Nintendo Wii with the general consumer market, your hardcore gamers were obviously playing Xbox and PS4, but the general public would gravitate toward something simple like the Wii. Mm-hmm. And the only thing they could do to refresh it was add some kind of new controller. And I forget what they even called it. Was it the Wii U?
The Wii U, yeah.
So
and they added in...
The only way they could refresh it was the Wii U, and I don't even know what that was. I mean, I have a Wii. We had a lot of fun playing bowling, and I've got a lot of games with it, and the whole thing is in a plastic bag in my closet.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Now, that having been said, The one main criticism of Nintendo for several years now has been the fact that they have this library of amazing coin-operated games from the 80s that people would pay handsomely for. I know I would charge up handsomely for Mario Brothers. Not Super Mario Brothers, mind you. I mean the original Mario Brothers.
Sure, yeah. There is so much to it. Yeah.
And Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong 3. I mean, and
maybe they just don't see us as. I mean, they see us as viable targets for putting some of their resources. But
the problem is that Nintendo doesn't want to sell their licensed properties on other platforms.
True.
They want to sell them on a Nintendo brand hardware device. So I still hope that there's a day that comes along where we are actually able to play those games on our iPhones, on our iPads. Oh, and sure, why not, Benjamin? Even the Android users can have them too. But seriously.
Wait, but you still left out the Windows Phone users. No, let's leave them out too.
Oh, why don't we just bring up the BlackBerry users while we're at it, Benjamin? Ugh, please. Well, my point
Tell us how you really feel.
I mean, Nintendo's stock has soared since the release of this game less than a week ago.
Yeah, by the time people are hearing this, it will be just over a week. It will be a week ago this past Thursday. Absolutely just amazing what has happened. And we're talking, this is hitting news everywhere. We're not the only people talking about this, which is absolutely funny. But when we come back from the break, what I want you to do, if you would, Keith, is explain to everybody what Pokemon Go is, how it works, and why the kids are so fascinated with it. Of course.
And why the parents are liking it as well.
Yeah, that too, yes. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. That is, of course, Keith M. Sedor. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Hey guys, this is Benny Rockwell. Most of us use video cameras nowadays, but what about those old movie films in the back of your closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. Imagine Grandpa's old 8mm and 16mm films that are just sitting in a box getting old and fading away. Legacy Digital will clean and recondition those films, capture them digitally frame by frame, and then produce beautiful DVDs of your precious memories on long-lasting, archive-quality discs. They don't use a projector, and your films can't be damaged in the process, the best available for families like yours. The final results are gorgeous. What better way to preserve those precious memories for future generations? Call right now, mention my name, Benny Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. 1-866-253-4229. And tell them Benny sent you. Your memories are priceless. So call 866-2-LEGACY now.
The website, computertalkradio.com. You already know that if you've been listening to us for anywhere longer than about 10 minutes. As we...
Gee, I thought you were going to say 10 years.
10 years, too. It hasn't been that long. 7.5 years. 7.5 full years. Yes.
And I've been with the show for almost a year and a half already.
Yeah, and it's been quite fun. That is the voice of Keith M. Sedor. He is normally our Mac guru, mymacguru.com, as you plugged in the last segment. But you're also...
all things Apple, actually. So
all things Apple, yeah.
Today we are discussing Pokemon Go as it relates to something you would play on an iOS device, namely your iPhone.
Yes. Now, so tell me, what is going on with this? Because I've got to be honest with you, it caught me by surprise.
It caught me by surprise as well, because I like to think I'm on the cutting edge of what's going on iOS. Even if it's not a particular game or topic that I'm interested in, I at least like to know what's going on. So when people say, hey, have you heard about such and such? I can say, oh, sure, here are the details.
Yes.
I have these conversations with my clients on a pretty regular basis. But my 21-year-old niece was up from Georgia last week, And she asked me what I knew about Pokemon Go. I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And she explained to me that it's this new game, and it was on her iPhone. And I said, oh, that's cool. She's like, oh, yeah, it just came out today. So it must have been, I think, last Thursday. She's like, oh, you should sign up. It's really great. What I like about it is it takes the Pokemon theme of a trainer and somebody who's got to throw these little balls at these woodland creatures, these mythical figures, and capture them in these little balls, presumably because they're some type of pest of some nature. But that is what you normally see in one of the movies, and it's static, and you're just an observer of this. Now, using your iPhone, the camera in your iPhone, and a wonderful feature known as augmented reality, in which you look at your screen, and it shows you something through your camera lens that's not actually there, but can give you additional information. A quick example of how augmented reality might work is, let's say you're in a city and you don't know where the subway stations are. You don't know what restaurants are around. In a specific app, you could hold the camera up and you would see overlays as you pan around of signage that's not existing in real life to show you where things are. So in this game, you're walking around on a real map of where you actually are, and Pokemon, these little mythical characters, pop up from time to time, and then you have to stop, and then looking at the screen, you see what is in front of you, but overlaid on that landscape is this creature. And you have to fire the little Pokeballs at the Pokemon characters and capture them. And some of them are not as easy to capture as you might think.
Okay.
But here's what also is interesting. This is not a static sit on your behind game where people just sit there and just play a game for hours. You actually have to move around and walk around your neighborhood.
I heard that basically the comment that was given to me was Pokemon Go has accomplished in 1 week what Michelle Obama spent the last 7.5 years trying to do: get kids outside.
Yes. Now, here's another neat thing. There's another feature of the game called the Pokestop. And basically what it is, it's a place where you can go to get additional Pokeballs, because you have a limited number of them, and different things that you need to play the game.
Okay.
And they will be churches. They will be shopping malls. They will be state parks, historical sites. And you basically get to them. You don't even have to get out of your car half the time. You could just drive up to them, get close enough to them on the map, spin it, and then whatever that's going to give you from that site will appear, and now you've got additional materials to play the game.
So if the kids are bringing this out at church, this is what they're doing. They're playing the game, and they're enjoying this. Okay.
Here's the thing.
But it's getting them to go to church, right?
Well, if it happens to be in church. I'm just saying these are public places where the Pokestops are.
All right.
And once you visit a Pokestop, you can't collect from that Pokestop again for at least 10 minutes.
Okay.
But
fair enough.
What is really great about it is, for example, I'm playing, my wife is playing, and our 6-year-old daughter is now playing on a hand-me-down phone from her grandfather. And we went out for a family walk after dinner tonight.
Yes.
And we are capturing Pokemon along our way.
Oh, wow.
Now, here's a little interesting cheat that I want to share with everybody that has not yet started to play the game. This is really neat. Anybody who knows anything about Pokemon knows that the most popular Pokemon character is Pikachu, the little yellow guy. Looks kind of like a cross between a rabbit and a cat.
Yes.
Well, when you first start playing Pokemon Go, 3 Pokemon, including Squirtle, which is a little turtle-like character who's probably the second most popular character. 3 Pokemon pop up like right away, all eager for you to catch them. Resist the urge to capture any of these 3. Run away from them. Keep moving. When you run away from these characters 4 times, after the 4th time you've run away from them, the 5th set will include Pikachu. And I can tell you from experience, he's not going to show up anywhere else anywhere soon. So if you want to get Pikachu, when you start the game, run away from these guys 4 times, and then the 5th time, Pikachu will show up, and he's very easy to catch.
So you've got to have a smartphone for this. You've got to be able to download the app. And it's basically, I'm presuming it's a free-to-play kind of app?
It is free. If you downloaded the game when it was brand new, there has been an update released Pokemon Go version 1.0.1 resolves a couple of issues that people have had because you are using a Google account to log in. So make sure you have the update downloaded.
Very cool. So that's one of those things. I'm actually going to be checking into this. I admit it. I'm a little bit fascinated by it. I haven't had a chance to.
I think you and the missus will have some fun on an after-dinner walk playing Pokemon Go together. It's a great way to get some after-dinner exercise.
Very cool. This is Benjamin Rockwell.
And I'm Keith M. Sedor.
And I'll be back with more Computer Talk Radio in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and, well, a normal person. Recently, though, it became clear to me that it was time to upgrade. I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After looking for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their care, their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when all I needed was a 1-gallon bucket. The folks at SiteGround know WordPress, Joomla, and more. SiteGround.com. SITE ground.com for your web hosting needs. SiteGround. The past few weeks have given an issue of, there have been a number of crashes, 3 of them. It could be more, actually. We don't know. It took a month for us to find out that the first person killed in a Tesla, in an autonomous, there we go, car, an autopiloted car. It took us a month to find that out. So we have seen that Tesla is actually under a lot of fire right now. Consumer Reports is asking for Tesla, not asking, they're calling for Tesla to disable all of the hands-free operation across the board. And they're asking also for Tesla to change the name of the system. Rather than utilizing autopilot, they're looking to I don't know what the name is that they want it to be replaced with. They just think that autopilot is just too big of a misnomer. And this is one of those situations where this is an ongoing saga. There are going to be people who are going to run into various problems with autonomous cars. It is a great concept. So far, if we look at the numbers, they're actually quite safe. They've got millions of miles on them already. I think it's I forget exactly what the number is, but Tesla themselves has somewhere around 1.5 million miles in autopilot or autonomous driving. And it's sad that somebody's passed away, but these are going to be things that are going to happen on our roads no matter what. It's going to take a long time to figure out the numbers, to figure out, are they safer or are they not safer? Yes, there is an issue in this particular situation where, the car made a mistake. But how many people out there make mistakes on a regular basis in driving? How many people listening right now have been in accidents? I should ask more likely, how many, or more rarely, I should say, how many of you have not ever been in a car accident? Ever. I've been in a number of accidents. Of course, I'm in the Los Angeles area. I grew up here, and we're going to have car accidents all the time. In these various situations, a car collided with a tractor trailer. One of them just drove off the road. And, maybe, yes, the human should have been taking a little bit more care, a little bit more attention to what they were doing. But at the same time, I'm not sure that Consumer Reports is right to call for an end to this. But I think that Tesla might do well to think about this and do whatever they can to enhance this and to bring this to greater reliability than it has been, which it's already been pretty reliable. I got to admit. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. We'll catch you next week.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio, so I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time.